What is going on, everybody? This is Tim Odell with Odell Complete Concrete. This is part 4. This is the patio cover build. And if this shot right here looks familiar, this was because it was in part 3. I'm just re-showing you guys how we set up the post anchor brackets inside the concrete area for the patio cover. Because in this part of the build series, we will be focusing on the patio cover build. What we're using is Simpson strong ties for 4x4 posts. And this is actually the part where I started running into even more problems. So here we are the next day after the poor day. Me and Jimmy just got back from picking up all the lumber we're going to need for the patio cover. We got all of our lumber from Ganal's Lumber. So we're just going to bring all of this lumber to the backyard, get it ready for prime and paint. And it's very important that you prime all your wood before painting, because a lot of wood has imperfections in the surface or the wood surface areas, like knots, grains, open pores. Priming basically helps fill in these imperfections, creates a more uniform surface. It helps adhesion when you do start to paint, and basically stain blocking. So because some type of woods like cedar or redwood contain natural oils, they can basically bleed through the paint and discolor it over time. Usually I try to advise clients not to go with wood, because wood basically just has a lot of imperfections. You either love them or hate them, and the fact of the matter is, wood is not going to last longer than Aluma wood. I know a lot of people do enjoy those natural characteristics of wood, but this client was not one of those clients, and you'll see later on how I know that.
Nope. Only technique with priming, don't leave no fat edges. That's bad.
See, that's a fat edge.
See, that's like a puddle.
Bubbled.
Yeah, you don't want no fat edges, no puddles.
You want your paint to go
That
on
looks
real
ugly.
nice, huh?
Yeah, it's nice and flat. Nice and flat. Nice and flat. No fat edges.
This primer that we're using the 1, 2, 3 bullseye. We're at 1849.
That's crazy. That's such a long time. That's generational wealth.
Right there, yeah. That was before Home Depot stocked it. So that was the primer that we're using. And I'm going to tell you right now, priming and painting takes a lot of patience and time, because you got to paint each side, wait for it to dry, then flip, then paint the next side, wait for it to dry, then flip, and so on until you get all 4 sides painted. So the first thing we're trying to do, so that we can kind of speed up the process, is we're basically priming all of our ledger boards that we're going to be attaching to the house for the joist to attach to, so that we can paint those and get those up right away. Jimmy's dad's actually a painter, so I let him do most of the priming and painting. It's kind of like in his realm of expertise. And so this is a very patient task, and it's a very important task, because you need to get a good primer on all of your wood, so that when it comes to the painting, you get a nice professional finish paint job that's durable and uniform. So we're just going to keep priming everything, getting it all ready, and then once all the ledges are basically primed out, we're going to paint them and get them installed. Alright, so we got some of the header boards or ledger boards all painted over here. We only need about 3 pieces, because these are 14 feet long, and the patio cover is going to be about 32 feet in length. So those 3 are done over there. So what we're going to do now is, and just so you can see as well, I patched all the holes that were there previously from the first patio cover with some stucco mix. And now we're just gonna measure down from the bottom of, or from the top of the house down about 5.5 inches for the ledger board, which is the 2x6s, but they're really about 1.5 by 5.5. So we're gonna go 5.5 on each end, mark it from each end to end, probably even in the middle because it's a pretty long run and I don't want that string line to sag at all. Then we're gonna snap it against the house and we're gonna start doing some pre-drilling through the stucco and put some lag bolts in right through the big header beam that goes across this area. So we're gonna start doing that. Got the ladders and we're gonna start marking it out. All right, so Shane's going over there. I'm gonna go up right here, measure 5.5. I mean, you can see where the previous header was, or the previous ledger. I mean, we could pretty much go off of this, but I just wanna make sure that we stay straight. You got the mark? Yeah. Now move your tape measure. And let's snap her. I'm gonna pull it, keep it tight. Ready? Good? Okay. There's our line. So it's important to snap the line across this whole area because on the second story overhang area, if the stucco is uneven on the ceiling of that area, we won't have a perfect 5.5 as we measure all the way through and double check. And if that's the case, we would just probably measure out 6 inches to give us a 1/2 inch from the top so that we can account for that extra uneven areas. But once we do have the line snapped all the way and we have confirmed that we have a good 5.5 the whole way, we'll just start installing our ledger board with our lag bolts. Alright, so right now we're just getting the patio cover posts all installed right now. We got the Simpson strong ties as our anchors, and all we're doing is we're using some big bolts, 6-inch bolts with some nuts and washers. All we do is bore a hole right through the post. I like to go halfway through this side, halfway through the other, so I can ensure that they're gonna kind of line up and I'm not going off or anything like that. And then after that, we just slide one of these bolts through, tying it up, and easy as that. So we're gonna do it right now. Dang, Shane.
What happened?
Oh, I heard that.
No, you didn't.
I'm down here.
It's
It's important to get this right on center.
hazard pay for Shane's farts.
So on the threads of your bolt, you want to make sure these are pretty clean. See all the wood pieces that were in there?
Yeah,
you want to try to get all those clean. Yeah,
stuck.
exactly. Because once you start putting the nut in and try to thread it,
True.
it's gonna get stuck.
Bring it to WD-40 too.
Yeah, WD-40.
Yeah.
See, look at that. I don't have to struggle to get it through.
There it is.
I already have it all the way up, hand tightened. And I squeeze it with my wrench.
All the foundation.
Okay, so now that all of our posts are in, the next thing that we're doing is what I did was we picked up the big 2x6x14, leveled it from the ledger board all over to our post. Once I had the level, perfectly level across from here to here, I am just marking this point right here. Actually, I actually have to go 5.5 inches down from this point right here because I gotta account for the header beam that's gonna go and sit on this post. So it's gonna make up for that extra 5.5 inch difference because I want the joist to run across on the ledger, across over on top of the headers. So really what I have to do is I gotta measure 5.5 inches down from here and then make the cut. Okay, now I'm just gonna bring the line all the way around with the square. Then we're gonna make the cut. I'm gonna do that for each one of these posts so that we can get those header beams up. Okay, headers are cut. We're gonna start putting this header in right here for these 2 posts. What we got right here is basically a header bracket. It's the Simpson Strong Tie LPC 4C. Okay, so you basically put them on just like this so that your headers can run right through here. Our header is gonna stop halfway through though, because our other header has to span this one right here. You won't even see these two because the side plates are gonna go up and cover all these plates. But this is how you do it. Pass me some nails. So in case someone's curious what kind of nails we're using for the patio cover, you got the Simpson 3-inch hot dip galvanized nails. Since it's outdoor, you definitely want galvanized. So we're gonna go ahead and start putting on all of our header brackets and then also installing our headers at the same time. Our headers span about 2.5 feet off from the post, so it's like a 2.5 foot overhang. And then we're gonna do about a 1.5 foot overhang with the joist in the front. And once we're done installing the headers, we're just gonna start getting those joists up. And then we are also using some joist brackets that we're going to be attaching to the ledger for the joist. So what we're doing right now is we're getting these joist hangers installed for our joists that are going across the ledger to our header beams. Right now I just got Shane helping me, and we have our little sample piece right here of our 2x6 joist, and we're using these galvanized nails into the ledger board. And then, yeah, pretty sweet and simple. Just thought I wanted to show you guys this close up so you guys can see it in action. All right. If I had an air gun, this would be a lot easier. And the reason why we're doing this with 2 guys is because, one, with the air gun, it makes it easier. But see how off this bracket is right here? See how it's like way kicked out? Well, someone's got to hold the bracket, hold the little mock-up joist, and then push these together. You need some real finger strength to push these together, and then someone to nail it into place. Now, if you were paying attention since the beginning and you were listening to when I was telling you that this is where I basically found out that this homeowner just did not actually like the natural characteristics of wood. Because when I went to go buy the lattice top for her patio cover, I actually showed her a couple of different sample woods we could use for the lattice top of this patio cover. And she ended up wanting to go with this one that you see as priming right now for the top of this patio cover. But by the time we were pretty much done installing all of the lattice, she did a complete 360 on us and said she did not like this lattice top wood. She thought it was too rough, and we basically had to take it all down. But before then, she did look over all the samples and agreed that this is the one she liked the most. So with her approval, once all of the lattice top was painted, and we did do 2 coats of paint on all the lattice top, so painting all the lattice top took about 2 days of continuous painting, because like I said, painting is a very patient task, and you have to prime 4 sides of the wood, wait for it to dry on, for each side, and then paint it. And then same process, paint all 4 sides, and you have to keep flipping and waiting for it to dry. You can't flip it until it's completely dry, because then the paint will drip. So we spent about 2 days priming and painting all of the lattice top just to be thrown out. But what we're doing right now is we are using a lattice at the top, an unpainted one, to basically use as our spacer for when we do start installing all of the lattice top on top. So even though we went through all this hard work installing all this lattice top and the multiple days of priming and painting all of this, in the end, once she actually saw it all installed and how it was looking, she just wasn't happy with it. And even so, that being the case, I was still willing and happy to work with her to get the right wood grain texture she would like. She wanted something, I guess, more smooth with less texture, and I was telling her, look, I'll take all this lattice top down, no problem, and we'll get you, the right lattice top that you're looking for. But at that point, I was just gonna start shifting gears and move over to installing all of the pavers, while she went to Gonal's Lumber and looked at the type of lattice top she really wanted. Okay, so the customer doesn't like this wood. It's a little too rough, and we're gonna go get some smoother wood. So we're gonna take out everything, all this lattice that we just put in, and get some better wood for the customer. And that's called customer service 101.
Making it right.
Okay, so we just got all the lattice off of this patio cover. It's a little tough seeing that happen, but customer wants something a little bit more slick looking, so we're gonna make sure that they get what they want. It's got a lot of wood to take to the dump now. A lot of wood. Last piece. So you can visually see we have all of the lattice off of the patio cover now, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little devastated at the time. It was hard to see all of that hard work go to waste, but in the end, I'm trying to make sure that the customer is happy with the end product. But not only that, Yelp reviews and Google reviews really hurt a business, and I really did not want this customer, because I know she's one of those customers that would leave a bad review. So I was really trying to do everything I could to make sure that this customer was satisfied in the end. At this point, she said she would just go check out Goodall's Lumber, get back to me when she did find the right lattice top she wanted, and in the meantime, we are basically just going to shift gears and start working on all the pavers. So that basically wraps up part 4 of this build series. Let me know if you guys have any comments or questions about this whole part in the series. And make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. That'll really help out, because this job definitely did hurt to see all of our hard work like this go to waste. But make sure you guys stay tuned for part 5. It's going to be the paver install. And yes, there is more drama in the paver install. So stay tuned for that one.